My girlfriend posted, "Oh, I'm not anyone's property, period," right before announcing a work trip with her supervisor. I replied, "Great, I'm not your landlord either." I canceled the renewal and booked movers. When she returned, the keys, contract, and goodbye note were waiting. I, 28 male, am sitting in my now half-empty apartment typing this while drinking a beer. Been with Tessa, 26, for almost 3 years, living together for the last 18 months. Quick context, the apartment is mine. I signed the lease before we met, been here 4 years total. When she moved in, we verbally agreed she'd cover groceries and utilities while I handled rent. Never put her on the lease because, honestly, didn't see the need. Worked fine until last week. So Wednesday morning I'm scrolling through social media over coffee when I see Tessa's post. Some people think being in a relationship means ownership. Newsflash, I'm not anyone's property, period. A woman can have male friends, male colleagues, and yes, even travel for work without needing permission. If you can't handle that, maybe you're the problem. Weird, right? We hadn't even argued. I'd literally made her breakfast that morning. Bunch of her friends commenting stuff like, "Yes, queen," and "Tell them." 20 minutes later, she walks into the kitchen all casual. "Oh, Beto, I have a work conference this weekend. Flying out Friday morning." Cool, where? Miami. It's a marketing summit thing. Nice. Who else from your team is going? That's when she got defensive. Why does it matter? See, this is exactly what I mean. I shouldn't have to report every detail. I'm just asking. We usually talk about trips. Blake and I are presenting our campaign. It's strictly professional. Blake, her 35-year-old divorced supervisor who texts her at 10 p.m. about urgent projects. The same Blake who commented fire emojis on her beach photos last month. That Blake. Me? Just you and Blake? Oh my God, yes, the company's only sending 2 people. Stop being controlling. Then she grabbed her coffee and left for work. No kiss, no bye, nothing. Here's the thing, I'm not stupid. The defensive response, the social media post setting up the narrative, the sudden work trip with just her hot supervisor, yeah. But I'm also not dramatic. I don't do the whole screaming match thing. Logged into my property management portal, lease renewal was due in 3 weeks. Click, declined renewal. Selected, tenant will vacate. Done. Called around to moving companies, found one with availability Saturday afternoon, while she'd be in Miami. Booked a 3-hour slot. Thursday night, she was packing. I noticed the lingerie going into her suitcase. For a marketing conference. Right? Me, need a ride to the airport? Tessa, Blake's picking me up. It's on his way. Of course he is. Friday morning she left, pecked me on the cheek like we were roommates. I waved from the window as Blake's BMW pulled away. Then I got to work. First, I boxed up all her stuff. Everything. Took photos of each box, labeled them, put them in the living room, texted my buddy who's looking for a place. Room opens up in 3 weeks. Interested? He was. Saturday, movers came. Loaded everything into a storage unit I'd rented in her name, used her info from the mail. Paid for 1 month. Left the key, storage unit details, and lease non-renewal notice on the kitchen counter with a note. Since you're not anyone's property and I'm not your landlord, figured we should make things official. Storage unit info attached. Paid through the 30th. Best of luck. Changed the locks, legal in my state with proper notice for non-tenants. Completely within my rights, since she was never on the lease. Just a guest who overstayed. She texted Saturday night. Picture from a Miami restaurant. Her and Blake raising cocktails. Conference dinner. I replied, looks fun. Haven't heard anything since. Her flight lands in 2 hours. Kind of curious how long it'll take before she realizes her key doesn't work. Update. Plane landed 45 minutes ago according to the airline tracker. Phone's on silent, but I can see the missed calls starting to pile up. We'll update when the fireworks really start. Update 1. Holy hell. So it's been 3 hours since Tessa's plane landed and, yeah, grab popcorn for this one. 6:47 p.m. First call, ignored. 52, 5 more calls. 3 texts. My key isn't working. Ryan, where are you? What the hell? 15 p.m. She started pounding on the door. I was watching TV, volume up. Tessa, Ryan, I know you're in there. Open the door. Opens door but keeps chain on. Hey, how was Miami? My key doesn't work. What did you do? Changed the locks, checked the kitchen counter, left you some important documents. Are you insane? Let me in. I live here. Actually, you don't. You're not on the lease. Never were. Her face went from angry to shocked to furious in about 2 seconds. You can't just kick me out. I have rights. You have 30 days notice, which I provided. It's all in the paperwork on the counter. Your stuff's in storage, info's with the papers. This is about Blake, isn't it? You're such a child. It was a work trip. Me cool. How'd the presentation go? What? The campaign presentation. The whole reason for the trip? It went fine. Stop changing the subject. You can't do this. Already did. Your stuff's safe in storage. First month's paid. Then Blake appeared in the hallway, still in his Miami outfit, linen shirt, designer jeans. Dude couldn't even drop her off and leave. Blake, what's going on here? Hey Blake, how was the conference? Listen man, this is between you two. Nah, you're here, might as well chat. What was your favorite presentation, besides yours, obviously? I think we should go. I'm not going anywhere. This is my home. It's my apartment. You were a guest, now you're trespassing. She actually tried to push past me. I just closed the door. She went ballistic, screaming about calling the cops. I yelled through the door to go ahead. 20 minutes later, 2 officers showed up. I showed them the lease, only my name, the non-renewal notice, dated 3 days ago, bank statements showing I pay all rent, texts proving she knew she wasn't on the lease. Officer 1 to Tessa. Ma'am, if you're not on the lease and he's given proper notice, this is a civil matter. You can't force entry. Tessa started crying. Full waterworks, telling them I was abusive, controlling, that I isolated her. The officers looked at Blake standing there, her suitcase from Miami, and weren't buying it. Officer 2. Ma'am, do you have somewhere to stay tonight? Uncomfortable. She can. I mean, I have a couch. Even the cops tried not to smirk at that. They made her leave. She grabbed her suitcase and Blake's arm, shooting me the death glare to end all death glares. This isn't over. Storage unit closes at 9 p.m. Info's on the counter. 2 hours later, my phone exploded. Her mom, her sister, her friends. All the same script. How could you? She made a mistake. You're heartless. She needs her things. My favorite was from her best friend Mandy. She just went on a work trip and you threw her out? You're trash, I replied. Ask her about the presentation. Radio silence after that. It's midnight now. Tessa's sister just texted that she's staying with them, not Blake. Interesting. Also said I'm a monster for doing this, without warning. I screenshot her own social media post about not being property and sent it back. Blocked. My buddy Derek's coming by tomorrow to check out the room. Already got 3 other people interested if he passes. Oh, and Tessa tried logging into my Netflix earlier. Password's been changed. Disney Plus too. Girl really thought she could go on a bang cat-in with her boss and still use my streaming services. The entitlement is real. Update 2. Been 5 days since the lock incident. Thought things would calm down. I was wrong. So wrong. Monday morning, I'm at work when my manager calls me in. Says HR received a complaint about hostile behavior and threats of violence. I'm like, what? Turns out someone called claiming to be a concerned neighbor, saying I threatened my ex with a weapon during a domestic dispute. Thank God I'd saved the doorbell footage. Showed my manager the whole thing, her banging on the door, the cops showing everything was calm, no weapons, no threats. He was pissed. Someone wasted his time with fake accusations. But that was just the appetizer. Tuesday I get home and there's a note on my door from building management. Noise complaints from multiple residents about late-night disturbances from my unit. Thing is, I've been going to bed at 10 p.m. and my neighbors on both sides were out of town. I know, because I'm watering Miss Chen's plants and feeding Jorge's cat. Wednesday was when she went nuclear. I'm grocery shopping when my phone starts blowing up. Tessa had posted on social media, when you discover the person you loved is a complete sociopath who throws you on the street for going to a work conference. 3 years together and he changed the locks while I was gone. Now I'm homeless because some men can't handle successful women. BTW, he's already moved his side piece in. Attached was a photo of my apartment building and my unit number. The comments were insane. People threatening to show up at my place, calling me every name imaginable. Someone said they knew where I worked and would handle it. But here's the beautiful thing. I don't use social media much. But I had screenshots, so I made my first post in like 2 years. Interesting fiction. Here's the actual timeline. Wednesday, posts about not being anyone's property. Friday, leaves for work trip with supervisor. Saturday, posts pic of her and Blake at Miami restaurant. Sunday, comes back with Blake, not alone. Bonus, never was on the lease, never paid rent. Stay tuned for the security footage. The post went mini viral in our circle. Turns out, Blake's ex-wife saw it and commented, LMAO, this is why we divorced, girl, run. Tessa deleted her post within hours. But she wasn't done. Thursday morning, locksmith van outside. I watch from my window as Tessa tries to convince them she's locked out of her apartment. Shows them some old mail with her name and my address. I walked outside. Hey guys, I'm the legal tenant here. She doesn't live here. Locksmith looks confused. I show him my lease, my ID. Locksmith to Tessa, ma'am, I can't help you without proof of residency. I lived here for 18 months. Locksmith, but are you on the lease? She stormed off, but not before teeing my car in full view of the security camera. Deep scratch, driver's side, front to back. Friday, yesterday was court day. Yeah, she actually filed for an emergency hearing claiming illegal eviction. She showed up with Blake as her support. I showed up with the lease, bank statements, the notice I gave her, security footage of her teeing my car, screenshots of her social media posts, the police report from Sunday. Judge took one look at everything. Miss Tessa, were you ever on the lease? No, but did you receive proper notice? Did you pay rent directly to the landlord? No, but we had an agreement. Then you were a month-to-month tenant at best, and proper notice was given. Case dismissed. Oh, and Miss Tessa? I see evidence here of property damage. The plaintiff would be within rights to pursue charges. She went pale. Blake suddenly had somewhere else to be. After court, her mom was waiting in the parking lot. Full Karen mode activated. You destroyed my daughter's life over petty jealousy. Your daughter destroyed her own life. I just declined to subsidize it anymore. She loved you. She loved my apartment. There's a difference. What about her things? Storage unit info was provided. She has 23 days left on the month I paid for. You expect her to pay for storage? I expect her to adult. Novel concept, I know. Then came the best part. Tessa stepped out from behind a car where she'd been hiding. Ryan, please, can we talk? Sure, you first. How was the presentation? What? The campaign presentation, in Miami, the whole reason for the trip. There wasn't one, okay? Is that what you want to hear? I know. Your company's Instagram showed the conference was in Atlanta. I checked before you left. Her face, I wish I could frame it. How did? Your laptop was open on Tuesday. Saw Blake's email about the Miami hotel reservation, dated 3 weeks ago. Really nice resort, by the way. So you spied on me? You left it open on my kitchen table, but sure, I'm the bad guy. She tried tears again, said it was a mistake, that Blake meant nothing, that she just needed to feel free for a weekend. I laughed, actually left. You're free now, enjoy it. Got in my car, keyed side facing her, and left. Last night got a text from an unknown number. It was Blake. Blake, hey man, just wanted to say sorry about everything. I didn't know she told you it was a work thing. That wasn't cool. I didn't respond, but I did forward it to Tessa with, looks like you're free from him too now. She called 27 times after that. Didn't answer once. Derek moves in next week. Already paid first month and security deposit. Turns out he's way cleaner than Tessa ever was. Oh, and I filed the police report for the vandalism. Have fun explaining that to your insurance, Tessa. Final update. It's been a month since everything went down. Figured I'd give one last update since people keep asking. The criminal charge for keying my car stuck. Tessa had to pay $1,200 in restitution plus fines. Her mom called me begging to drop the charges because it would affect Tessa's job. I reminded her that actions have consequences. Apparently, Tessa's marketing firm wasn't thrilled about the vandalism charge or finding out she lied about the conference. Yeah, about that job. Remember when I said I checked the company Instagram? Well, turns out Tessa's coworker Diane follows me back from some party years ago. She DM'd me after seeing my post. OMG, is this about Tessa? Girl, she's been telling everyone she went to the Miami conference, but we all knew it was BS. The company only sent Roger and Amelia to Atlanta. Blake took PTO days. He's in deep shit with corporate. I didn't do anything with that info. Didn't need to. Word travels fast in marketing circles. Blake got demoted. Not fired, but no longer Tessa's supervisor. Moved to a different department. Tessa? Well, when your whole team knows you lied about a work trip to bang your boss, and then you get arrested for vandalism, let's just say her LinkedIn now says seeking new opportunities. But the real entertainment came from the storage unit situation. Remember how I paid for 1 month? Tessa never picked up her stuff. Not once. The facility called me. I was still the emergency contact, saying the unit was going to auction for non-payment. I forwarded them her contact info and washed my hands of it. Her sister messaged me 2 weeks ago, furious. Apparently Tessa kept saying she'd get her things tomorrow until it was too late. Everything got auctioned. Her designer clothes, her precious vinyl collection, her grandmother's china she insisted on displaying but never used. Gone. Sister, how could you let this happen? Me? I gave her 30 days notice, paid for storage, provided all the info. What else was I supposed to do? Sister, you could have reminded her. She's 26, not 6. The sister also let slip that Tessa's been couch surfing. A week here, a week there. Burning through friends fast because she apparently expects everyone to accommodate her like I did. One friend kicked her out for bringing Blake over at 2 a.m. Another for eating their food and not replacing it. The best part? She tried to get back with Blake officially, once they were both single and unemployed. He ghosted her. His ex-wife, who I now follow on social media because she's hilarious, posted, "When the mistress becomes available, but suddenly she's not mysterious anymore." Tessa made one last attempt 2 weeks ago, showed up at my building, but security wouldn't let her in. I'd removed her from the authorized list months ago. She called from the lobby. "Tessa, Ryan, please. I'm struggling. Can we just talk? We're talking now. In person, please. I know I messed up, but what? You need a place to stay? That's not, Tessa, you made it very clear you're not anyone's property. I respected that. I'm not your property either. Or your landlord, or your backup plan. I loved you. You loved the lifestyle I provided. If you actually loved me, you wouldn't have been in Miami with Blake." Silence. "Ben, can you at least help me get an apartment? My credit's shot," and I hung up. Blocked the number she was calling from. Derek's been an awesome roommate. Pays on time, cleans up after himself, doesn't bring his supervisor over for sleepovers. We actually started a D&D campaign with some friends. Living my best nerd life. My favorite epilogue. Ran into Blake at a coffee shop last week. Dude looked rough. Apparently his ex-wife took him back to court for increased alimony since he was clearly hiding assets if he could afford Miami trips with his mistress. She won. He tried to make small talk. I just grabbed my coffee and left. But not before saying, "Hey, how'd that presentation go?" The look on his face was worth the months of drama. Anyway, that's it. Tessa still posts vague quotes about surviving narcissistic abuse and rising from the ashes. Last I heard, she moved back with her parents in another state. Learned a lot from this whole thing. 1. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. 2. Never put anyone on your lease unless you're married. 3. Always get the security footage. 4. The opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. Thanks for following along on this weird journey. Now if you'll excuse me, I have a raid to prep for, an apartment that's 100% drama-free. Peace out.